Blaziken got a massive update this season with getting two moves, Ember as well as Aura Sphere. And especially Aura Sphere, of course, is going to be an insane move to get, one of the strongest moves currently in the game, and it's a stab on this Pokemon as well. But also Ember is going to be amazing for energy generation. And so today we're going to take a look at a very, very strong team for the Open Great League with a Blaziken as our star. I was actually in a bit of an awkward position there because I needed to get rid of a legacy move in Stone Edge, and I needed to use an Elite TM in order to get the Blast Burn back for this Pokemon, as this is going to be kind of important. And as you see in the first battle, this was actually the wrong moveset, but it actually completely outward the opponent. But now every single battle is going to be with the correct moveset. We're going to see here already in this battle on what this moveset can do. We're going to have Aura Sphere here up against the LilyKatchum. They shield this up. That's fine, I can shield as well. The thing is here, we are going to be insanely fast at getting to the Aura Sphere. This is most likely the fastest Pokemon to get to Aura Sphere, which is kind of nice, especially with Stab, especially with the high attack that you have already on Blaziken, plus the Shadow bonus. It just makes people forfeit. But of course, with the high damage, there's always going to be a low defense. And here we see also kind of where this can be impactful already. We're going to have the Charger Bug against us. A Pokemon that is gonna go for the Discharge against us, but generally has neutral damage against us, while we have super effective fast move pressure with the Ember, but they actually do more damage than we do. And so I will take the opportunity to keep my Blaziken with a Blast Burn stored around, because basically with both Blast Burn as well as Aura Sphere's coverage moves, there's next to no Pokemon that can really go into that one. Like, there's only one Pokemon that is really strong against it, and that is a talking point for this video as well. And that's going to be Jellicent. Jellicent is the best answer kind of towards it. And here is the issue, and here's where I would adjust the team, especially because it's kind of funny as well. In a different video, which I didn't really realize, I faced a very similar team with Blaziken as well multiple times, and they had that Pokemon on the back. The Pokemon that they're talking about is for Celio instead of Celio, Jellicent. Like, Jellicent is the best answer to counter Jellicent and have all the other boxes also covered. Celio is an amazing Pokemon though for the backline here. I really enjoyed using this Pokemon as well, but Jellicent would help you out in certain ways. But, well, of course, this is going to be a strong Pokemon, the Blaziken. This team doesn't have no answers. And one of the answers here is going to be the Malamar, which you see already. It's going to be quite tricky for us to deal with. And you see every single battle that I did with this team in this video. And so you're going to be able to make yourself your own opinion on if it's worth it to build yourself a Blaziken, if it's worth it to use some elite moves if you don't have the Blast Burn on it anymore either. Blast Burn is a move that is now needed, but wasn't really great prior. You could still, by the way, go for Stone Edge over Blast Burn if you wanted to. Then you have Flying type coverage, which would be more handy if you use it as like a Say-Swap, but generally speaking, they very likely are going to use, yeah, basically shield no matter what against you, like as long as... I don't know which Pokemon would be able to resist both fighting as well as fire while being weak to rock. I don't think there are already any Pokemon that do that. So that's kind of the thing here for that. Like, Stone Edge is still a good coverage move on this Pokemon, but mostly just not really needed here. And here we're going to have basically one of the worst possible matchups. We have the Jellicent as well as the Malamar together against us, and that is just not possible for us to win. Try to outspeed them, but here we saw already that the damage of the opponent was just too much to deal with. But that being said, there are also some battles where, honestly, Blaziken was absolutely broken. And there are going to be battles here today where Blaziken basically swept the entire team on its own. And that's kind of ridiculous. Like, honestly, Blaziken was a fantastic Pokemon to run. I would really recommend you to give it a try. And here we're going to go up against Ludicolo. Ludicolo, good Pokemon. We already made a video on this channel towards this Pokemon as well. Definitely check it out if you haven't done that yet. But as we will see here, there's going to be the Weather Ball coming through. We are going to be able to go for that Rock Tomb here against the opponent. And this is going to allow us to get the KO here. In comes the Ninetales. Ninetales is going to allow us to get another charge off that they're very likely going to use a shield against. But sadly, we're just perfectly in their farm down range. I feel like if I went maybe for the Rock Tomb one turn earlier, I would have been able to still get him move. But now I will try to utilize my Celio in order to take those hits. It's at least debuffed damage coming through, but they also hop out now into the Blasters. And here is where Blaziken just shines again. Blaziken, with the pacing that you have with this Pokemon, can be absolutely broken, because as you guys see here as well, the RC is coming through, doing massive amount of damage here against the opponent, and we can even reach still another one in time. And this is against a bulky water type. We're going to be able to still win against it as well, and against this Ninetales, we're also still going to be able to win against. And so that is going to be a very good game to the opponent. We're going to be totally fine here, and we can move on to the next opponent now. So let's see on what the next opponent has against us. This is going to be the Qwilfish. That is interesting. Qwilfish is going to be, yeah, generally quite solid Pokemon here. It's very good actually against our team. Has coverage against basically everything. As, yeah, we don't really have a good answer against it. I guess our best answer is almost a Celio, because most Qwilfish are running the moveset of Awkward Tail Ice Beam, and everything is going to be resisted then on the Celio. But we saw here, we were able to go up against the opponent's Umbreon. They're going to go ahead and go for their foul play against our Blaziken, which allows us to get quite a bit of energy here, to the point where we can knock them out most likely with the Aura Sphere. Getting rid of one of their Pokemon already is kind of nice. But also, we're going to be able to see Pitta here with the Aura Sphere against the opponent's Qwilfish, and with that, we should be able to get the shield from the opponent. And now, I could have the option to go into my Celio as alignment. But of course, I still have to be fearing the potential Sludge Wave, as they still haven't revealed their final move. And so I'm going to go here. I go for the Rock Tomb. This is a mistake. I should have went for Grass Knot. You saw me actually trying to still get to the Grass Knot last second, because Grass Knot does 10% more damage, and this, like 10%. Actually, a bit more than 10%, then 10 more damage, which would have been enough to knock them out. And then we still had our other Pokemon, our Credeli. But as you will see here, Ludicolo is for the Shadow version of the Celio. Actually a very, very good matchup. And so we are going to be able to just go for the body slam spam here against this Pokemon. We are going to be in a very solid position, as this is going to allow us to get the KO against him now. And let's see what is coming in. Nothing, because the opponent had, I think, like a 1 HP Pokemon left, and we can move on to the next opponent. Where Klotza is going to wait for us. Blast Burst coming in. This is going to be enough to get some damage in against them, and we're gonna try our best to stop and catch the move onto the Credeli, which is perfect, as it's going to be now a Sludge Form coming in. Not too much damage, while against the Blaziken almost would have been a knockout. In comes the Sableye, and we can debuff them straight away, which honestly is really good for us, because now we put them into a range where we can just go for another Rock Tomb and either knock them out, or I don't know, like the opponent's going to be able to go for a move here, but we can debuff them. Like, it's going to be totally fine here. It's not a bad matchup at all. We're going to leave them basically at double debuffed here, but actually let the move go. And with it, we have alignment. And alignment against Clodsire means we're going to have our Celio aligned, which has super effective fast move pressure, which is really, really good for us. And so, yeah, we're going to have our Celio trying its best. In comes the Morgram, a Pokemon that I are right against, actually, as I can go for the move. It's going to be a Surf, getting it shielded from the opponent, and I just have to go for the Aura Sphere. You don't need to go for Blast Burn. I barely went for Blast Burn, if I even went for Blast Burn with the Blaziken, as the Aura Sphere is such a good coverage move that if it's neutral, it's most of the times the better move to go for. I think it maybe even has... Nah, I don't think it has more damage per energy. It has, I think, damage per energy count by 2, and I think the Blast Burn has 2.2, so it's a bit stronger still, Blast Burn. But as you see here already, Blaziken is just going to be able to win this battle. Like, yeah, we can go for the shield, we can go for the full farm down, and we can win the battle, and we can move on to the next opponent. This is Tonton, very good French player, and I dislike this battle quite a bit, because I am not too happy with myself in one point, but you're gonna see it later on. But this doesn't mean that we're going to lose this battle here straight away. We're going to use a shield here against the opponent, and I go straight for my harder hitting move, which is a little bit less risky, because I want to kind of get rid of the Jellicent. You know my team, I'm really weak to Jellicent, so I'm happy to see it here. But I don't know what they're going to have in the back yet, and so yeah, we have to see. We actually have a very good lead matchup there. We have now the Jellicent up against the Pokemon that we want to see it up against. Grassland's going to get shielded, that's fine. And the opponent decides to go for another charge move, which I decided to use a shield against. And so far so good. We are in an okay spot. Let's hop back into the Ninetales, which we can now go for a Blast Burn. This is one of the points where I actually have to go for the Blast Burn in order to get the guaranteed KO. And with that, the Ninetales goes down. And they're going to go back into the Jellicent anyway, going for a Surf then, knocking me out very likely. Could have went for the bait move there of the Aura Sphere if I wanted to, but I don't think it would have helped me. And now it's down to if Credeli can knock them out here, and Credeli can go for the Grass Knot, which will be enough to knock them out. So I'm not in a bad position. I can go on to the Celio, and they reveal the Ferret in the back. And so my first instinct is to go for a Body Stab, because I am one turned unaligned, and I would be able to get to 2 Body Stabs no matter what. But there you go for the Swift, and now I make a big mistake. Don't know why. I thought I would win Steam Pitta against the opponent. I actually know that I don't, like Celia's around 2100 rating, basically in terms of the book ranking, and third has the 1900, so I'm never gonna win Team Pitta. If I went for the water move, I'm fairly certain I would have won this battle. Surf would have done enough damage with a stab on it to put them into farm down range for Credilli. I would have won this one. Good game to Tauntaun, my mistake. Should have played it better. So, great lead for us, but Gaston is, for example, also a Pokemon where it would have been just better to have Jellicent. Jellicent is just safer, resisting all of the charge moves, which you would not do here with the Body Slam, but they're actually running Earth Power, which is not something I expected. And now they're going to be able to align themselves perfectly here, and that is not nice. Now I'm in a pretty bad position here. We are going to be not in a position that I want to be in, as the Earth Power is going to be shielded by us. In comes the Fearow, which is honestly not that bad. But what do I do next? And maybe I could have even swapped out into my Blaziken here to try to get energy. I should let the move go here. I do let the move go. It's going to be the Drill Peck. But yeah, I get some extra energy here at least. But they're going to have now alignment, which means I have the Gastrodon up against our Blaziken. And unless there's something funny happening here and I get like a ton of energy and the opponent's super low and somehow still reach 2 Aura Spheres against the opponent's Gastrodon, there's not really a lot that I can do here. Gaston stops in, we can go for the Aura Sphere, and the opponent lets the move go, which allows us to get the KO, and we win. Don't know why. I think I still would have got to another Aura Sphere, which would have been an okay for us, but generally speaking, I think it's going to be kind of here the best kind of way. Yeah, it's kind of the best way I played there. I think it's kind of fine. The opponent made, I don't know, like the opponent letting the move go through kind of makes sense there as well at the end. They kind of need to survive one there. But anyway, we're going to have the Gastrodon against us as the Corviknight stops in. Corviknight getting energy is quite tricky. I should have maybe swapped out of here into the Celio. Instead, I stay in and try to go for another charge move. They're forced to go for the payback. Air Cutter is not going to be enough. They try to go for the Air Cutter. It's not going to be enough. And they're going to be able to go for another Air Cutter. This is going to be enough, as we can try our best with our Blaziken. They have super effective fast move and charge move pressure. And so I use a shield, which I maybe should have not done. I should have maybe taken the debuffed Air Cutter there from the opponent's Corviknight, as the Aura Sphere is going to connect, knocking them out, and in comes, let's see, the Gaston again. I should have went for 2 fast moves, not just 1, because 2 fast moves are better energy-wise. Basically, you can still avoid the second Mud-Step damage if you just go for 2 2-turn moves against a 3-turn move user. But yeah, I didn't do that. Could have played a tiny bit better. Would have got 1 more fast move in with my Blaziken. I wonder if it's going to matter. Let's find out here. It doesn't matter. We're going to have the Celio against Celio action. We neither does like good fast move damage, and I should have went for the charge move earlier, but I didn't. And now I'm in a position where actually, if I would have had the 1 extra, I don't know, maybe if I had the 1 extra fast move, I would have got to the Aura Sphere before they even got to the move. But they just have to use a shield, and they should be able to win this one, as they. It actually did matter. It actually did matter, and most I would have been able to get at least 1 of those moves off beforehand if I just would have got that done correctly. So you see there, where like 1 tiniest play in the millisecond can decide the game. This is something I should have done a bit better. In comes Spiritomb. I assume they're going to shield here potential Blast Burn. Blast Burn just one-shots them. Yeah. Oh, not. That is just ridiculous. Like, this is really ridiculous. You see already, by the way, on how much a resisted Aura Sphere does from Shadow Blaziken. It's wild on how much damage it is. Like, if I just went straight Blast Burn, which is the safer and the most logical play, I would have been able to just knock them out straight away and kept alignment, kept all the advantages that I had. It's kind of crazy that this ended up like this, where it looks so much worse for me than it should have. And I think it's just going to stay like this because the opponent plays it quite well. I have to say, like, the opponent plays it really, really well. There's a player coming through now. I am going to try my best to swap out and go still for my charge moves here with my Blaziken as the Aura Sphere is coming through. And again, they let the move go, which allows them to still survive this hit, which is wild. Again, if I went for Blast Burn, this Pokemon would have been down as well. If I just went twice for Blast Burn, this game would have been over already at this point. And like this, I just kind of put myself into the worst possible position. So this is going to be it for Blaziken. How did Blaziken do? I think generally it's a very cool Pokemon. I do think it's, of course, with the bulk that you don't have, it's going to be a bit tough to play. But generally speaking, I do think it's going to be a Pokemon that we're going to see quite more often in the future. I don't think it's going to have the craziest play in competitive Pokemon, like play Pokemon tournaments. I can't really see that happening. While it has a lot of pressure, I think it's quite tough to play, and especially you can't prepare for it. Any Mud Slapper is going to be good. Any Jellicent is going to be good. That's all you can need to knock it out. So yeah, I don't know. It's a cool Pokemon to run. It's definitely really cool to run. It was a lot of fun. Hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you then.